Day 29. Exodus 33:35. Exodus chapter 33. The people mourn for their sin. Moses pitched the tabernacle without the camp. He converseth familiarly with God, desireth to see his glory. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Go, get thee up from this place, thou and thy people which thou hast brought out of the land of Egypt, into the land concerning which I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, To thy seed I will give it, and I will send an angel before thee, that I may cast out the Canaanite, and the Amorite, and the Hethite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite, that thou mayest enter into the land that floweth with milk and honey. For I will not go up with thee, because thou art a stiff-necked people, lest I destroy thee in the way. And the people, hearing these very bad tidings, mourned, and no man put on his ornaments according to custom. And the Lord said to Moses, Say to the children of Israel, Thou art a stiff-necked people, once I shall come up in the midst of thee, and shall destroy thee. Now presently lay aside the ornaments, that I may know what to do to thee. So the children of Israel laid aside their ornament by Manhoreb. Moses also, taking the tabernacle, pitched it without the camp afar off, and called the name thereof the tabernacle of the covenant. And all the people that had any question went forth to the tabernacle of the covenant without the camp. And when Moses went forth to the tabernacle of the camp, arose up, and every one stood in the door of his pavilion, and they beheld the back of Moses, till he went into the tabernacle. And when he was gone into the tabernacle of the covenant, the pillar of the cloud came down, and stood at the door, and he spoke with Moses. And all saw that the pillar of the cloud stood at the door of the tabernacle. And they stood and worshipped at the doors of their tent. And the Lord spoke to Moses face to face, as a man is wont to speak to his friend. And when he returned into the camp, his servant Joshua, son of Nun, a young man, departed not from the tabernacle, face to face, that is, in a most familiar manner. Though, as we learned from this very chapter, Moses could not see the face of the Lord. And Moses said to the Lord, Thou commandest me to lead forth this people, and thou dost not let me know whom thou wilt send with me, especially whereas thou hast said, I know thee by name, and thou hast found favor in my sight. I know thee by name. In the language of the Scriptures, God is said to know such as he approves and loves, and to know by name those whom he favors in a most singular manner, as he did his servant Moses. If therefore I have found favor in thy sight, shew me thy face, that I may know thee, and may find grace before thy eyes, look upon thy people this nation. And the Lord said, My face shall go before thee, and I will give thee rest. And Moses said, If thou thyself dost not go before, bring us not out of this place. For how shall we be able to know, and thy people, that we have found grace in thy sight, unless thou walk with us, that we may be glorified by all people that dwell upon the earth? And the Lord said to Moses, This word also, which thou hast spoken, will I do, for thou hast found grace before me, and thee I have known by name. And he said, Show me thy glory. He answered, I will show thee all good, and I will proclaim in the name of the Lord before thee, and I will have mercy on whom I will, and I will be merciful to whom it shall please me. And again he says, Thou canst not see my face, for man shall not see me and live. And again he said, Behold, there is a place with me, and thou shalt stand upon the rock. And when my glory shall pass, I will set thee in a hole of the rock, and will take thee with my right hand till I pass, and I will take away my hand, and thou shalt see my back parts, but my face thou canst not see. See my back parts. The Lord by his angel usually spoke to Moses in the pillar of the cloud, so that he could not see the glory of him that spoke familiarly with him. In the vision here mentioned, he was allowed to see something of him in an assumed corporeal form, not in the face, the rays of which were too bright for mortal eye to bear, but to view him as it were behind, when his face was turned from him. Exodus chapter 34. The tables are renewed. All society with the Canaanites is forbid. Some precepts concerning the firstborn, the Sabbath, and other feasts. After 40 days' fast, Moses returning to the people with the commandments, and his face appearing horned with rays of light, he covereth it whatsoever he speaks to the people. And after this he said, Heed thee 2 tables of stone like unto the former, and I will write upon them the words which were in the tables, which thou breakest. Be ready in the morning, that thou mayest forthwith go up into Mount Sinai, and thou shalt stand with me upon the top of the mount. Let no man go up with thee, and let not any man be seen throughout all the mount, neither let the oxen nor the sheep feed over against it. Then he cut out 2 tables of stone, such as had been before, and rising very early, he went up into the Mount Sinai, as the Lord had commanded him, carrying with him the tables. And when the Lord was come down in a cloud, Moses stood with him, calling upon the name of the Lord. And when he passed before him, he said, O the Lord God, merciful and gracious, patient and of much compassion, and true, who keepest mercy in the thousands, who keepest away iniquity and wickedness and sin, and no man of himself is innocent for you, who renderest the iniquity of the fathers to the children, unto the grandchildren, unto the third and fourth generation. And Moses, making haste, bowed down prostrate unto the earth, and adoring said, If I have found grace in thy sight, O Lord, I beseech thee that thou wilt go with us, for it is a stiff-necked people, and take away our iniquities and sin, and possess us. The Lord answered, I will make a covenant in the sight of all. I will do signs such as were never seen upon the earth, nor in any nations, that this people, in the midst of whom thou art, may see the terrible work of the law which I will do. Observe all things which this day I command thee, and myself will drive out before thy face the Amorite, and the Canaanite, and the Hethite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite. But where thou never join in friendship with the inhabitants of that land, which may be thy ruin, but destroy their altars, break their statues, and cut down their groves, adore not any strange god. The Lord, his name is jealous, he is a jealous God. Make no covenant with the men of those countries, lest, when they have committed fornication with their gods, and have adored their idols, some will call thee to eat of the things sacrificed. Neither shalt thou take of their daughter as a wife for thy son, lest after they themselves have committed fornication, they make thy sons also to commit fornication with their gods. Thou shalt not make to thyself any molten gods. Thou shalt keep the feast of the unleavened bread. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread, as I commanded thee in the time of the month of the new corn, for in the month of the springtime thou camest out from Egypt. All of the male to kind that open up the womb shall be mine. Of all beasts, both of oxen and of sheep, it shall be mine. The firstling of an ass thou shalt redeem with a sheep, but if thou wilt not give a price for it, it shall be slain. The firstling of the ascents thou shalt redeem, neither shalt thou be before me empty. 6 days shalt thou work, the 7th day thou shalt cease to plow and to reap. Thou shalt keep a feast of weeks with the first fruits of the corn of thy wheat harvest, and a feast when the time of the year returneth, that all things are laden. 3 times in the year all thy males shall appear in the sight of the Almighty Lord, the God of Israel. For when I shall have taken away the nations from thy face, and shall have enlarged thy borders, no man shall lie in wait against thy land when thou shalt go up and appear in the sight of the Lord thy God thrice in the year. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice upon leaven, neither shall there remain in the morning anything of the victim of the solemnity of the feast. The first of the fruits of thy ground thou shalt offer in the house of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not boil a kid in the milk of his dam. And the Lord said to Moses, Write thee these words, by which I have made a covenant both with thee and with Israel. And he was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. He neither ate bread nor drank water, and he wrote upon the tables the 10 words of the covenant. And when Moses came down from the Mount Sinai, he held the 2 tables of the testimony, and he knew not that his face was horned from the conversation of the Lord. Horned. That is, shining, and sending forth rays of light like horns. And Aaron and the children of Israel, seeing the face of Moses horned, were afraid to come near. And being called by him, they returned, both Aaron and the rulers of the congregation. And after that he spoke to them, and all the children of Israel came to him, and he gave them a commandment, all that he had heard of the Lord on Mount Sinai. And having done speaking, he put a veil upon his face. But when he went into the Lord, and spoke with him, he took it away until he came forth. And then he spoke to the children of Israel all things that had been commanded him. And they saw that the face of Moses, when he came out, was horned, but he covered his face again, at any time he spoke to them. Exodus chapter 35. The Sabbath. Offerings for making the tabernacle. The Samuel and Eliab were called to the work. And all the multitude of the children of Israel being gathered together, he said to them, These are the things which the Lord hath commanded to be done. 6 days ye shall do your work. The 7th day shall be holy unto you, the Sabbath and the rest of the Lord. He that shall do any work on it shall be put to death. He shall kindle no fire in any of your habitations on the Sabbath day. And Moses said to all the assembly of the children of Israel, This is the word the Lord hath commanded, saying, Set aside with your firstfruits to the Lord. Let every one that is willing and hath a ready hearth offer them to the Lord, gold, and silver, and brass, violet, and purple, and scarlet ties dyed, and fine linen, goat's hair, and ram skins dyed red, and violet-colored skins, cedar wood, and oil to maintain lights, and to make ointment, and most sweet incense, onyx stones, and precious stones, for the adorning of the ephod and the breastmen. He sown in these wise, Lethem current, and the word hath commanded to work, the tabernacle, and the berthuar, and the cover, the rings, and the board to work with the bars, the pillars, and the sockets, the oak and the staves, the propitiatory, and the veil that is drawn before it, the table with the bars and the vessels, and the loaves of proposition, the candlestick to bear up the lights, the vessels thereof, and the lamps, and the oil for the nourishing of fires, the altar of incense, and the bars, and the oil of unction, and the incense of spices, the hanging at the door of the tabernacle, the altar of holocaust, and its grate of brass, with the bars and vessels thereof, the laver and its foot, the curtains of the court, with the pillars and sockets, their hanging in the doors of the entry, the prints of the tabernacle and of the court, with their little cords, the vestments that are to be used in the ministry of the sanctuary, the vesture of Aaron the high priest, and of his sons to do the office of priest to me. And all the multitude of the children of Israel going out from the presence of Moses, offered first fruits to the Lord with the most ready and devout mind to make the work of the tabernacle of the testimony. Whatever was necessary to the service and to the holy vestments, both men and women gave bracelets and earrings, rings and tablets. Every vessel of gold was set aside to be offered to the whole. If any men in violet, and purple, and scarlet twice dyed, fine linen and goat's hair, ram skins dyed red, and violet-colored skins, metal of silver and brass, they offered it to the Lord, and set in wood for divers uses. The skillful women also gave such things as they had spun, violet, purple, and scarlet, and fine linen, and goat's hair, giving all of their own accord. But the princes offered onyx stones, and precious stones, for the effort and the rational, and spices and oil for the lights, and for the preparing of ointment, and to make the incense of most sweet savor. All, both men and women, with devout mind offered gifts, that the works might be done which the Lord had commanded by the hand of Moses. All the children of Israel dedicated voluntary offerings to the Lord. And Moses said to the children of Israel, Behold, the Lord hath called by name Bezaleel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, and hath filled him with the Spirit of God, with wisdom and understanding and knowledge, and all learning, to devise and to work in gold and silver and brass, and in engraving stones, and in carpenter's work. Whatsoever can be devised artificially, he hath given in his heart. Waliab also, the son of Achizimage, of the tribe of Dan, both of them hath he instructed with wisdom to do carpenter's work, and tapestry, and embroidery in blue and purple, and scarlet twice dyed, and fine linen, and to weave all things, and to invent all new things.